morning, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. That like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the morning recap show. Was a tough one last night. It was an ugly one last night. The Knicks lost to Milwaukee in Milwaukee. What was that? 108-119. We got a lot to get into in a short amount of time. I have to hit the road in less than an hour. So I'm trying to keep this to 30 minutes. I'm not sure that I can. All right. Shout out to everyone joining me in the chat so early. Andy from Poland, appreciate you. Tim Smith, Pudge, defense is non-existent. Shout out to Ron Cleveland for standing on his take. He was right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was the only one to say that. We knew that the sample size was small, and then it was the eye test. We just saw the perimeter defense wasn't there. Salute, Shot Powers, Louisiana Knicks. The transition defense wasn't there. But these were the hoops, but we were able to win anyway because of the level of the level of competition. So let's get right into it. All right. The Knicks came into this game 3-1. Milwaukee came into this game 3-0. We started the usual suspects: Brunson, Fournier, Barrett, Randall, Mitchell Robinson. They started Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brooke Lopez. And on paper, you would think that the Knicks, could take them. And they had opportunities. But this is a well-oiled machine, Milwaukee, and we'll get into that. As well, individual stats: the Knicks are now 3-2. Milwaukee is now 4-0. Quentin Grimes forever out. Barrett 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Came up big for us in that third quarter. I think he scored 13 of his 20 points in that third quarter. 13 of the Knicks' 30 points in that third quarter. Didn't shoot well, but he wasn't the only one. 41% from the field. Randall, 14 points, 12 rebounds. Only shot 30% from the field. Wasn't very aggressive offensively, in my opinion. Quickly, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Shot 45.5% from the field, which is pretty good. He had 3 turnovers. Brunson, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He also did not shoot well from the field. 30% field goal. Milwaukee is the number 1 defense coming into the game, and there was no fluff in that statistic. Trust. The Knicks shot, I don't think that's right. The Knicks shot 39.8%, probably. All right. 40% from the field, took 93 shots, hit 37, shot 34.3% from the three-point line, took 33s, made 11. Milwaukee didn't shoot well either. 38.5%. They took 109 shots, hit 42. They took 45 three-pointers, made 13. You couldn't tell me that they only made 1 or 2 more three-pointers than the Knicks. That was hard to believe. And they only shot 28.9% from the three-point line. Middleton was out for them. Ingles was out for them. Connaughton was out for them. So, their number 2 player was out, and 3 of the players in their rotation was out as well. All right, let me get into my observations of the game. The first thing I want to do is just put in context that the Knicks were playing a championship contending team. And yes, they had, 3 rotation players out, but Milwaukee knows how they want to play. They have a superstar. Some would say Giannis is not a superstar. He's just a star. In my opinion, he's a superstar. And they have a certain way they play. They want to surround him with 3-point shooters, right? So that he can drive the lane. And if there's any resistance, he could spray it out to the 3-point shooters. And if there isn't any resistance, he can go. Obviously, he's great going downhill. That's how they play. There was no resistance. I'm not quite sure what the game plan was for the Knicks. Usually, teams will decide, we're going to wall off Giannis. He's hitting, he'll take a 3, he'll pull up for the mid-range. He's not very proficient there, but he will do it to keep the defense honest. And teams will say, listen, we're going to create a wall. We're not going to allow him to get downhill. We're not going to allow him to get to the basket. We're going to live and die with those 3-point shooters. Or we're going to give Giannis his. You can't stop him anyway. He's going to score 30. He's going to score 40. As long as you hold everybody else down, you should have a good chance of winning the game. I'm not sure what the Knicks' strategy was last night. Giannis got into the lane at will. Randall usually plays him pretty well. Listen, you're not going to stop him. Like, you're just not going to stop him. But he usually plays him very well. Not last night. The Knicks were in heavy rotation all of last night because they got into the lane at will. And so what? You got to leave your man and come over, and rotate. Now, somebody has to rotate to your guy. And it seems like we were scrambling, trying to get to those 3-point shooters all night. Now, they didn't shoot well from the 3-point line. I think it was, like I just said, 28.9% or something like that. But it wasn't for the Knicks. Like, I feel like we didn't shoot well, but a lot of that had to do with Milwaukee. They didn't shoot well. I'm not sure how much of that had to do with the Knicks. Let me know if you agree with that take, or you think the Knicks had something to do with how they played. I don't think so. The Knicks turned the ball over just 12 times for the game, but 6 times in the first quarter. It was Milwaukee's poor shooting that basically kept the Knicks in the game. They shot poorly. That kept the Knicks in the game. The Knicks were going on like a little mini run, but because Milwaukee wasn't shooting well, they never really took off until that third quarter when they went on. I think we were down 4 or 6. Somebody missed a layup or something like that, and then the next thing you know, or shot, whatever it was, turned the ball over. It was something. They went on an 18-0 run. And at one point was up by as much as 24. The Knicks battled back in, but again, I'm not sure how much, a lot of it was RJ Barrett. He didn't shoot well, but he shot better than the rest of the starters, I believe. And he kept us in it in that third quarter. You could say what you want about how he's been playing up to this point. In that third quarter, he showed up for us. He played well in that quarter. And led us in scoring for the game. Milwaukee took Brunson and Randall right out of the game. Now, I'm going to say they took Brunson out of the game right from the beginning. I thought they would start with Drew Holiday on Brunson. They put Javon Carter on him, and they were physical with him. They moved their feet laterally. They didn't allow him to turn the corner at will. They were disciplined. He has great, footwork. And able to get his shot off that way by, moving his feet, juking you out. They were very disciplined on defense, and they pretty much took Brunson out of the game. Now, he missed a few chippies, at the rim. He got some good looks and, some shots he just missed, but they were physical with Brunson all night. Randall, to me, just wasn't aggressive. He just wasn't aggressive, and I get it. The Knicks have been playing, move the ball around. They didn't do that great, and Milwaukee had something to do with that. But that's how the Knicks have been playing. Move the ball around. You get the shot, you get it. You don't, you pass it, you move it around. But there are times when your best players And on this team, that's Brunson, RJ, and Randall. There are times when you have to assert yourself, and I just didn't think Randall was assertive. Now, he scored, 6 points, in the fourth quarter, 2 for 3 from two, whatever it was. Play a little better in the fourth quarter, but, we needed Randall last night. He did have 12 rebounds. He did go to the line 9 times, I believe. He hit 8 of them. I get it. But I needed to see more from Julius Randle last night. You know, I don't even get the sense that the defense was really keen on them the way they were keen on Brunson, but let me know what you thought about Randall's play in this game and what you thought about how they defended Brunson. Let me get to the chat. Louisiana Knicks, that is what we are lacking with our star players. They can't settle a game or take over at will. We don't have that type of team. We don't have those types of players on our team. So you're absolutely right. And this is, if the Knicks are going to ever become championship contenders, they're going to have to give up a little bit of their depth for a star or a superstar. Not all of it, but you're going to have to give up a little more of it, because in games like this, you need that guy that you can give the ball to and say, get me a bucket. And the other team knows the ball is going to him. They've defended against it, but it doesn't matter. He's going to still get his shot off. And the Knicks don't have those type of players. Now, obviously, you need enough on that offensive line to keep the defense honest, right? So they can't key on that player. But right now, we don't have one of those. However, it remains to be seen, whether Brunson will turn into that, right? Or somebody else on this Knicks team will turn into that. But I'm with you, Louisiana Knicks. I'm not gonna overreact. Milwaukee wasn't at full strength, but they are championship contenders. Had the Knicks played better, they might have had a chance in this game. Like on paper, you look at the roster, the Knicks had a chance. Had they played better defense, they would have had a chance. If they were able to absorb that physicality and still hit their shots, they would have had a chance. But that's not here or there. I was in favor of giving up a little bit of our depth for Donovan Mitchell. The draft picks was more of an issue than the players, when it came to Utah, but it is what it is. I'm not going to overreact. JJ, when do we realize the golden child RJ isn't it? I mean, listen, he played well in the third quarter. He just, career-wise, he's a 41% shooter. And at some point, we're going to have to just settle into the fact that he is a high-volume shooter. Quality jumper, appreciate you. We just need to hit our shots. At this level, we can't shoot this poorly and expect to be successful. Yeah, I mean, defense is important. You need to be able to stop people, but it's a shot-making league at the end of the day. You got to be able to hit shots, and you got to be able to hit contested shots. I didn't get a chance, again, because I'm going to be on the road today. I didn't really get a chance to delve into the stats, but, part of the Knicks shooting poorly was those shots were contested. There wasn't a lot of easy looks last night. But at the end of the day, we just don't have, other than Brunson and so far this season, Randall, we're just not a good shooting team. DJ Space Goes, appreciate you. Randall double fakes too much instead of going with the initial shot. Yeah, I mean, I think he's doing that less. I think he's much more decisive this season, but the aggressiveness and assertiveness wasn't there. Yeah, our poor shooting was not because of the Bucks defense. We need a scorer. Fournier got exposed and Tibbs was horrible. Listen, the Knicks got exposed. It's the bottom line. The Knicks came in 4th, 5th in defensive rating, but it was fool's gold. Like, they played Orlando. They played, They played Detroit. Charlotte was a free-flowing, high-scoring game. The eye test told you that the Knicks right now are not a very good defensive team. Defending the perimeter, defending in transition. They're not a good defensive team right now. And we have to get better over time. And that may mean some changes in the lineup. But if you think just taking Fournier out is going to solve the Knicks' woes, it's a start, right? RJ's not that great defensively. Randall is not that great defensively. Brunson is not that great, defensively. So I agree with you. Fournier is not a good defender, but he didn't look worse than any other Knick last night. And in my opinion, for the season, play Sims at power forward for rebound, a backup Mitch on the floor with defensive rotation. Yeah. Let's see. I think it's too early to panic and start making changes. They're a championship caliber team with a superstar, despite the fact that some of their rotation was out. They were the number one defensive team in the league, and that's for real. Like, their defensive rating for real. When you saw them flying around, being physical, staying in front of their guy, making it difficult for drives to the basket, cutting off passes. He was like, wow. I remember that 2 years ago when we played defense like that. They the real thing defensively. And they're not a good offensive team, but their defense keeps them in the games, They went on that 18-0 run. The Knicks were able to wither it to 11, maybe. It might have even got closer than that in the fourth because they're not a good shooting team, right? So they're going to always be able to, teams will always get back into a game. But the Knicks weren't shooting well. You know what I mean? So, and they had a lot to do with that. JJ, don't let RJ fake 20 points fool you. DJ Space Gold, we should have kept D-Rose and Obi in the fourth. Yeah, you might be, right about that. Tip should have given Sims some burn. We really needed his size. Whenever you lose, you just think about, imagine if so-and-so would have came and did this and so-and-so would have came and did that. I'm not sure Sims would have made that much of a difference. The Knicks actually were out-rebounded by only 6. Like, when I was looking at the game, I was like, I cannot wait to see the stats. You cannot tell me that the Knicks are not being out-rebounded by a lot. You can't tell me on the offensive boards the Knicks are not being out-rebounded by a lot. You can't tell me they don't have like 40 second chance points, because all I saw was Portis and whoever giving them second chances, third chances to get a basket. If they weren't putting it up, they were throwing it back out for another opportunity. And come to find out, we were even as far as defensive rebounds were concerned. They had 6 more offensive rebounds than we did. Trust me, it looked like much more than that. And second chance points, we had 17. They had 20, but it looked worse than that. I just felt like watching the game, like, we cannot get a rebound. Shy Powers, Facts Queen, they just played better and bigger, dub and block shots, and those offensive rebounds. Shaking my head. You couldn't tell me they didn't have more than that. The ball and player movement wasn't there on our part. Now, Milwaukee shot poor, but they moved the ball. And that's the thing about, Quickly hit some big shots for us, but a lot of them weren't off of ball movement. And you're like, what's the difference? He hit them. Yeah, he did. But when you're moving the ball, you're moving that defense. You're getting them tired. You know what I mean? You're creating passing lanes. You're creating driving lanes. You're creating, open shots as opposed to contested shots. Because as great as your defense may be, you can't move faster than the ball. And that's what Milwaukee did. They moved the ball. And the Knicks appeared to me to be scrambling all night. We didn't do that. We weren't moving the ball. We weren't moving our bodies. That makes us easy to guard. You know, it makes us easy to guard. Now, they had something to do with that. They were physical. They were up into us. Their hands was out. They was contesting passes. But again, you can't move away from what's supposed to be your identity as a ball moving team. We talked about the rebounding. You know, let's get into individual plays. Andy says Steph 10 minutes left. I know. Mitch with only 20 minutes. Mitch was in foul trouble, you know, all night. You know, he said prior to the game there was a clip where, you know, one of the announcers or pregame analyst said that, you know, he wanted to play the better offensive players. He wanted the challenge of playing Giannis, and he was on him for a couple of possessions. And I think Mitch perimeter defense is better, but Giannis is a load for anyone. But you know, the other thing is Mitch trying to help. You know, Mitch trying to help because the defense was a sieve. And it's been like that most of the season, but it was even worse. He's coming over, he's blocking shots, he's trying to be disciplined, he's trying to help. And it just didn't work out from Mitch. And when Mitch is out of the game, the defense is even worse. 11 points, again, 33% shooting. And this is what happened last year. At the end of the year, all of our wings were somewhere between 39 and 41% shooting from the field. It just can't happen. Rose had 12 points in 13 minutes. Ihart, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Obi in 17 minutes, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 2 for 3 from the field. Cam, I wasn't feeling Cam last night. I wasn't feeling a lot of the Knicks, but I wasn't feeling Cam. Took a lot of ill-advised shots. He has to be a bit more disciplined on offense. He starts bringing the ball down, putting it between his legs a few times, it's going up, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's it. We talked about Brunson being taken out of the game. We talked about Randall not being that aggressive, in my opinion. We talked about RJ in his third quarter. Andy IQ played a good game, best of this season. If he plays like this whole season, I'm going to be happy. I thought IQ played okay. I thought he played better the other game. I can't think of it, when he was 0 for 5. And just the way he ran the team was just tremendous. But he played well last night as well. Hawkeye, RJ not working on his shot. You know what? In the post-game conference, and I don't know if this was a little needle from Tibbs, like he did was it last season or the season before? And he said, I'm not worried about RJ. When RJ comes back at night to work on his 3-point shooting, it starts to fall. Now, I don't know if that meant he hasn't been doing it, or that was his way of letting him know you need to do that, or he's been doing it and the shot just hasn't been falling anyway. But I did peep peep that. We got to make our free throws against top notch. Yeah, we're gonna get into that as well. All right. Now this one, trying to find a player to spotlight last night was like trying to find a contact lens falling in a corn patch or something like that, pumpkin patch or something like that. It was just hard. And again, the player spotlight is not the player who played the best. It's just the player you want to highlight for the night. I'm going to go with Derrick Rose. Could have went with IQ as well. Played 15 minutes, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Turned it over only once. Took 8 shots, made 5. Took 3 3-pointers, made 2. One of the things about Derrick Rose is that The light is just not too bright. No team is too tough. He's going to get his shot off. He's not going to be hurried. He's going to do what he does, whether we play in Milwaukee or we play in Detroit. He looked the same. He looked the same against the number one defensive team. He looked the same. He got his open shots. He took them. He made them. That's it. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, turned the ball over 1. Whatever defense they was playing now, he was playing against the second team, but one turnover, 15 minutes. I'm loving the minutes distribution with Rose. As I said, he doesn't need to play a lot of minutes. Though, when I was listening to the post-game show, Wally and Hahn thought that he should get more minutes. I'm not quite sure about that. 8, 12, 15 minutes for Derrick Rose. I just think you start playing him 20, 25 minutes, you're going to wear him down. I'm not quite sure how much he's going to hold up. But what I like about him, and a lot of our bench players too, Obi, iHeart, quickly, they give you good minutes when they're in there. They give you good minutes when they're in there. So I'm okay with Derrick Rose minutes. Quality jumper. We are managing Rose minutes. We can't overuse him. I'm okay with what he is doing. Yeah, I salute Ajay. I agree. I definitely agree. All right, let's move on to the team stats. New York, we were only out rebounded by 6. Very, very hard to believe. And those 6 rebounds were offensive rebounds. Defensive rebounds, we were even, actually. 19 assists, 6 steals, 5 blocks. We only turned the ball over 12 times. That's pretty good. But Milwaukee turned it over 6. And that's because, and those probably were unforced turnovers. Maybe I'm getting on the Knicks too much defensively, but I just felt there was no resistance. So they only turned the ball over 6 times. We only turned it over 12, 6 of them in the first quarter. Shot 39.8% for the field. Like I said, 34.3% from 3-point line, 68.6% from the free throw line. You're not going to win basketball games not shooting well. You're not going to win basketball games not shooting free throws well. And the Knicks don't get to the free throw line a lot. The Knicks are like, what, 28, 29, 30, and getting to the free throw line. They don't get to the free throw line a lot as a team. So when you do, make the most of it. I think Barrett was 60-something%. Brunson was 60-something%. You want to buzz with the big boys? This is what you're gonna have to do. But I think this game was a good barometer of what the Knicks need to do. Second chance points, 46-50. Points in the paint, 46-50. Second chance points, 17-20. I was shocked. I was just shocked that it was even that close. Fast break points, the Knicks had 13. They had 20. They had 22. Yep. Ally Wise, appreciate you for rocking with me this morning. I know it's early. iHeart gave up a lot of second chance points with Mitch in foul trouble, shaking my head. Yeah. No doubt about it. Andy, everybody gets beat by on the first step. Yep. It's me. We played the champs. Golden State is the champs, but I get it. They are championship contenders. Sunday is the game to analyze and criticize. You could criticize today too. It's not even about whether they beat Milwaukee. How did they play? Like, we didn't beat Memphis, right? But you came out of that game thinking like, might be something a little special about this team, right? Milwaukee, did you come out of there with that? Obviously I get it. They're a championship contending team. They have a superstar on their team, but they were without 3 rotation players. I just expected a little more from Randall. I'm sorry. And I expect, listen, Brunson, Randall, and RJ, if we're going to get to the playoffs, those three players are gonna have to rock. That's it. You could come up short, but 41% for the game, Brunson 30% from the game, Randall 30% from the game. I mean, they had a lot to do with it. I'm not jumping off the ledge, but it just helps you to see where we are when we're talking about 50 games and we're talking about, the 6th seed in the playoffs. This is what happens when you play those top teams. They play really good defense, and if you're not asserting yourself and you're not moving the ball and you're not making it hard for them, it's gonna be more nights like this. So again, I'm not killing the Knicks, but I'm not gonna just sit and say, it's okay. The Knicks have to be better. Shy Powers, it ended up close, but in that third quarter, they killed us. Yeah, no, no doubt about it. Ajay, I know I'm late to the party, but I'm concerned about RJ. I'm concerned about Randall. Because when you play games like this, you got to show. And to me, yes, he had 14 points. He had 12 rebounds. He went to the line 9 times. He hit 7 or 8 of them. The assertiveness and the aggressiveness was not, was not there. But I hear you. You're not the only one concerned about him. It seems like we were lacking in energy and we could have played a little harder. Yeah. No doubt about it. That is about what I have for today. I got to get on the road, so I got to keep it short. I got to keep it brief. I can't get to everybody, in the chat. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Our next game is at Cleveland on Sunday. Right now, the Knicks are 3-2. Cleveland is 4-1. Now, all of these stats that I have here, defensive rating, was as of midnight. It could have changed because remember, there were still some games, West Coast games going on. But right now, as of midnight last night or this morning, the Knicks were 11th in offensive rating and 10th in defensive rating. And Cleveland was 6th in offensive rating and 4th in defensive rating. Cleveland is another good team. Like we're on the stretch. We're on the good team stretch right now. And we're playing at Cleveland. Garland has been out with an injury. I'm not sure. He's close to returning. I'm not sure if he'll return for Sunday's game. If he's out, let me just get this. If he's out, Donovan Mitchell moves to point guard. Karis LeVert is in the starting lineup. At shooting guard, Dean Wade at small forward. Evan Mobley at power forward. Jarrett Allen at center. This is a good team. This is a good team. One thing I'm sure of is that Brunson is going to play better, and this is what you want to see in a team. There's a lot of teams, even championship teams have duds where they just don't play well. The Knicks weren't even blown out. Well, maybe they were, and you get blown out. How do you respond? And this is what we're going to have an opportunity to see from the Knicks. How do they respond Sunday? How does Randall respond? Randall is playing the power forward, Evan Mobley. He's very long. He tends to struggle, with long players historically. They got Jarrett Allen coming over. How does Mitchell Robinson play against Jarrett Allen? Now, Jarrett Allen is not an offensive juggernaut, but I've seen them early in the season throw the ball down to him, a few times. So that's going to be a really good matchup to watch. Mitchell Robinson and Jarrett Allen. Randall and Mobley should be a good matchup to watch. And Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. I really hope Garland is out. But Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, if not Brunson and Garland, how will the Knicks respond against Cleveland? I'm very interested to see that. Salute, Savvy. Appreciate you. I didn't even notice that. Jalbino 59, thanks again for the recap step. Keep it going. 29 more subs. Let's get you there. I wasn't aware. Listen, I love what I do. Anytime I go live and I look and there's one person in the chat, I'm happy because I love the Knicks. I love talking about the Knicks. I don't know if you like me, but my family, other than my friends, you know, my circle of sisters who are Knicks fans, nobody else wants to hear about the Knicks. So finding this community where you could just pop on the mic and talk about the Knicks, and there's people in the chat willing to talk Knicks with you, that's to me what counts. Whether I get to 1,000 subscribers and get monetized, not too much. I haven't been keeping up with it, but if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit that notification button. The Knicks play Sunday at Cleveland. I'll be back on Monday morning, 8 a.m. from my winter home. I'm leaving you New York. I'll see you in March. But I appreciate everybody rocking with me, everybody who showed up in the chat. Savvy, it's me. That one kid 68, Paris Duggar, appreciate you. Hawkeye, Building Blocks, Quality Jumper, JJ, Adjay, Mike Boy, Building Blocks, Shot Powers, I think I said JJ, Mike Boy, Ramrock, Pudge, Andy, Shot Powers, Ashley Inc. 1 from the West Coast, appreciate you. And anybody else that I may have missed, D's World of Hoops was in here. I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate all of you. I will see you guys and gals on Monday.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now, pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, New York. All my people, you rocking with the chat. That like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.